I saw that. Thank you.
This is my husband. This is Mrs. G. No, we live in we're moving to yeah. Oh, yeah. You're so well.
She picked it up. So then I just made it Spotify.
I still like I love you.
Oh yeah. Me too. Thanks for doing this, man. It's awesome.
Sharon and Bill, this is Chris. Hi, Chris. This is my buddy that I haven't seen since '69. That's so frightening. Honey, can you get a picture?
So just bear with me 1 minute. And the context of this, well, I'll explain in a minute. One second. Just talk amongst yourselves for 1 minute. I have no idea how this is going to work out. We have it rehearsed. I hear, yeah, my mom's, she's choir directing already. This is one of the things that my mom did years ago, for a number of years, was she was the musical director. And how many people here have heard of Uplift People? Right? And my mom was the musical director of a couple of local chapters or regions of that. First we were in Northridge, and then we moved to Glendale. And so these gals, Carol, Chris, and Kathy, were all part of that. Yeah, they were part of all that. And none of them can sing. I'm kidding. try to do, we're going to do a little medley of, and Dave could be glad that I didn't get his good to get up here. A little medley of just 3 songs that we used to do during the show. And really it's for your mom. It's just a gift to hear those songs again live, okay? Just a little bit. So if you could, try to be enthusiastic out there. If you could clap, you know, and when it finishes, you know, just a rousing ovation, no matter what happens. I'll see you all in 3 minutes. It happened just this morning. I was walking down the street. The milkman and the postman and the policeman eyeing me. Then God's skin. I said it's black, brown, it's yellow, it's red, it's white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said it's black, brown, it's yellow, it's red, it's white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. Everyone's the same in the good Lord. One more. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. Which way, America? Which way, America? Wasn't that the deal? Which way, America? Which way to go? This is my country and love her so. Whoops. This way, America is going to go. There are which way, America? Which way, America? Which way to go? This is my country and I want to know which way America is going. One more time. Which way is our rousing finish? Which way, America? Which way, America? Which way to go? This is my country and I want to know which way America is going to go. Which way America is going to go. A couple of things here. First of all, this is from the city of Ventura, from the mayor and the council's office.
Wow.
And it's just certifying recognition of you, Carolyn Gorka, the celebration of your 100th birthday. Congratulations and best wishes for many years to come. All right? Now, the next thing is, you know, I'm not a perfect son. You might figure that out. So I want to tell you what else is coming. Our president, Mr. Trump, is sending you a letter. It just hasn't got here yet. And so are the Lakers and so are the Dodgers. So,
I don't know if it's more important, President Trump's letter or the Lakers than the Dodgers. really what makes the party. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about what a different world it is now than the world I grew up in. I know when I was a child back in Illinois, one of my favorite places to go and visit was to visit my aunt and uncle. They lived on a farm. In addition to all the pigs and chickens and cows, they had a horse. They had one horse. And the horse's name was Josephine. And Josephine did a lot of things. She pulled a wagon that took the men out to the fields to work. And she drove the buggy when they went to see their friends. And she let my cousin and me ride around on her back when she wasn't doing other things. Josephine was a real treasure. I wonder how many of you have ever seen a horse and buggy. But to be a child and get to hold the reins of the horse behind the buggy, that was a real thrill. I went to college during the Depression, and I went to State University. There were about 9,000 students on campus, and I only knew 2 that had a car. We walked every place we went, in all kinds of weather, snow, rain, whatever. Once the temperature even fell to 30 degrees below zero. This was back in Iowa. We still had to go to classes. And I can remember in those days the girls couldn't wear pants, so we all had to wear skirts, and our legs would be to the beating on those cold days. After college, the war brought up, shortly after that. And I didn't have any brothers, and I thought our family should be represented, so I joined the Navy. And I wouldn't trade those Navy years for anything in the world. There are a couple of people here today that also had Navy service, and I think they'll agree with me that the lessons you learned and the bonds you made in the Navy, they were just irreplaceable. Of course, Congress had just passed a law permitting women to enlist in the service. Up until that time, they had not been permitted to do that. Right after the Navy, I met my husband, Lee. He was just getting out of the service. He'd been in Europe fighting the war. He went in 2 days after D-Day and somehow managed to fight his way across Europe without getting killed or even wounded. So he came back. And Lee was a really interesting guy. He and I were poles apart in temperament and background. But it takes more than that to make a marriage work. And we loved each other. We had a lot in common. We both loved to play golf. We both loved music and the arts. We both came from strong families with strong faith backgrounds. And somehow with a lot of compromises and adjustments, we made our marriage work. We had 2 sons, Terry and Jim. And unfortunately, at age 59, my husband died of a major heart attack. And at 34, we lost our younger son, Jim. But Terry and I kind of marched on. And he met Val, and they were married. And her family took me in, and they became my family, too. So it's helpful to have them in there. And I wanted to thank all of you for coming, too, because you are the party. You're what makes it a party. And every one of you, in your own way, have been a very special friend of mine. And this includes PEO sisters and ex-wave people and family and bridge playing buddies and just friends in general. And I appreciate my niece and my nephew who flew across the country so they could be here today. It's been just great to have them here. We had a family dinner last night and had a chance to really talk. And some of these girls, like the girls that sang up here, I haven't seen them since they were in high school. And I just do want to say that working with other people was absolutely one of the highlights of my life. I'll just never forget. I don't know, and those of you who do know what other people was, but those of you who don't, this was during the Vietnamese War era, and there was so much negativism in the country, and everything was frustration, and there were all kinds of, why can't I see? Now, this is one of the things that happens to you when you get to 100. There's a word that starts with T, and I can't think what it is. Protest. There's so many protests in the country and all. And other people really was an effort to offer the young people in the country something that was full of hope and totally positive, and let them feel that they could have a part in building the world they wanted. And we did shows. It was all done through music. There were 5 casts that traveled around the world, and in the cities where they went, they encouraged the local communities to form their own Up With People group, sing the same songs, and they called these sing-outs. And I was really happy to be able to direct 2 of the sing-outs in the LA area. And we did shows everywhere. I remember we did a show in prison, and we had been cautioned before we went there not to intermingle with the prisoners. But well, the prisoners, some of them had formed their own sing-out. And when we got up on the stage and started to sing, one of our boys noticed that they were mouthing the words of the songs. So he went down the stage and put his hand out. He said, "Come on up and sing with us." And one by one, the prisoners came up on the stage and joined us. And one of the pictures around here someplace is of the prisoners and us standing on the stage singing together. And that was really a very touching moment, and we really never felt threatened by them in any way. And we did a show on an aircraft carrier, and every place we went, we not only put on a show, but a couple of the people of the cast would speak to the audience and sort of challenge them to take on what they were doing, which is to live a life and get involved and try to create the world that they wanted. And I must say, Up With People was truly one of the most rewarding, important experiences in my life. Let's see what we have here. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I was just going to say that I've always found it a lot more interesting to be a participant in what's going on in the world rather than just a spectator. And so it's kind of led me to be involved in all the kinds of things like the Navy and like Up With People. I've had a kind of a mantra in these later years, and that's been don't worry 2 minutes about the things you can't do anymore. Figure out what you can do, and do it as often as you can for as long as you can. I've pretty much lived my life that way, and it's worked out pretty well for me. The last thing I wanted to say was to thank you all again for coming. Every one of you in your own way is a really special friend of mine. And I do thank you, each one of you, for your friendship. I don't think you realize how much I value it, how important it is. But I do thank you, everyone, for your friendship. That's all I have to say.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the final important moment of the day, and that's the cake cutting. So just talk amongst yourselves. My mom wants to, she said to me, she slapped me on the wrist earlier and said, I want to see that cake before you cut it. So I'm going to walk it back there, so you guys just have a seat. Got three.